Hi guys, welcome back to that corner of the internet where you get useful tips for your becoming journey that helps you or that will help you transform into the person that you're always meant to be. Thank you so much for everyone who joined us in recent times, because I saw that we have new subscribers and new family members. You're welcome. So today we're having a conversation about lessons I learned when I turned 30. And just as a disclaimer, this conversation or these lessons may not apply to you verbatim, but what I want you to know is that there are useful things that you can begin to learn, whether you are in your 20s or in your 30s. So let's jump right into today's video. So the first lesson I'm learning, or the first lesson I've learned, is this: that my relationship with God is not about perfection, it's about trust. I believe that this is a lesson I started to learn in my late 20s, but then stepping into 30, I started to even see more of this. Different experiences that I had made me realize that God did not necessarily want perfection. He just wanted me to trust Him more. And I believe that the first few years of my 20s were just about me trying to play by the book, trying to do things according to what I had seen other people that had gone before me do. And it was such a difficult place to be honest, because it felt like most of the things I was doing was about performance, right? More than it was about just easing into that relationship and just allowing God love upon me and receive His love wholly. And so right now I'm beginning to learn, or I'm starting to learn, that it's just about allowing God lead me, trusting His direction and leaning on Him to guide me. Another thing I also see in that lesson is the fact that God is not interested in having all of His children communicate with Him, approach Him in the same manner, because He understands that we are all uniquely made. I mean, He created us differently, right? There has to be a reason for that. And so every one of us have a different manner of approaching God and a different manner of just having that intimacy or building that intimacy. But the disclaimer I'll also give here is this, right? You also have to understand that there are principles, right? Kingdom principles that guide our building intimacy. But at the end of the day, there's just a difference with how we individuals approach God in the long run, or generally speaking. The second thing I want to talk about that I'm learning, or I started to learn, is that time is valuable. In my 20s, of course, I understood that time was valuable, but not as much as I do now. I feel like there is something about turning a year older, and not just a year older, there's something about getting into or stepping into a new decade that just gives you this wake-up call that restarts or reignites your mind and reignites your consciousness in a way that is so deep. So for me, I'm starting to see that every day I'm given is an opportunity for me to steward the gifts that I've been given, and also for me to step into that place of purpose and live in a manner that God will have me live, right? So I'm beginning to really, really value time. I'm beginning to value time so much more. So the third thing I'm learning is to value relationships and friendships. So I believe that in my early 20s, I probably was just so fixated on what my parents were doing wrong or what they were not doing right, and where I felt like they could do things better. But stepping into my late 20s and then into my 30th year, I started to see that my parents were doing the best that they could with what they were given or what they had been handed. And at every point in time, whatever it is they did that I felt like I was not comfortable with, I realized that it was done out of love. So I learned to pay more attention, or I'm learning to pay more attention to their motives more than I'm paying attention to their actions. Because I know that the only thing that really drives them is their love for me and their intention to see me be a better person. And that is just changing the game completely. And also in my friendships, I'm beginning to learn to appreciate people more. I'm beginning to understand the value of relationships and friendships. And this also stems from the fact that you do not really know what will happen tomorrow. You do not really know how many people will still be around by next year. But the best that you can do is to make sure that you show them that you value them while they're still here. So even if at some point they go on or they pass on, it's in your heart that you always made them feel valuable. and they always felt that level of love or a certain level of love from you. The next thing I'm learning is that, or next thing I'm learning is to be unapologetic about the things, about saying no rather to the things that no longer serve me. Whether relationships, whether situations, opportunities, whatever it is, I'm learning to be unapologetic about it. Because what I'm trying to not do is to spend time with people or things that I know are not adding to my growth in the long run. So I'm not just about having idle conversations. I'm not about having stepping into idle opportunities that I know that will not serve me. In this season of my life, I'm being intentional about the things that I say yes to and being unapologetic about the things I say no to, because I realize that at the end of the day, every moment I have has to be geared towards living purposefully. And so if something is not helping me live purposefully, I'm going to say a big no to it, and I will be unapologetic about it. The next lesson that I am learning is this. I'm learning that my body is changing. And when I was in my 20s, especially my early 20s, I would go out and then I would have all these compliments. Oh, your face is so smooth. What do you use for your skin? Or can you tell us your skin routine or your facial routine or whatever? And I would just say, oh, sorry, it's natural. I don't really do anything to my face. And that was the truth, actually. And stepping into my late 20s, I started to have serious issues with acne that I did not know where it came from. And it was such a rude shock for someone that has lived like basically all her life with this flawless skin. I started to have real skin issues. And it was just a reminder that I am not getting any younger, I'm getting older, and my body is no longer accepting certain things that it would usually accept before. And then even in the area of weight gain, right? If you see me now, you might just think that, oh, she looks normal, she looks like her size is okay. But then if you saw me like maybe some few years ago, you would see the difference. So my body is not like letting go of weight as fast as it usually would. And that is also a rude shock, because I was someone who would lose weight, like snap back very easily. All I had to do was probably be ill or be stressed for 2 days and my body is like back to normal. But that's not happening anymore. And I'm learning to just give myself grace and understand that I'm growing and I'm getting older. And the best thing I owe myself is to take care of my body as much as I can, but also not feel bad about the fact that my body is changing. Because at the end of the day, growth is inevitable and change is also inevitable, right? And I'm just in that place where I'm appreciating it. I'm doing as much as I can in terms of eating right, getting my fitness on, and making sure I pay attention to my skin and my body more. But at the end of the day, I still love my body. And the fact that it's changing doesn't really change anything. Another thing that I'm learning, or the next thing I'm learning, is to learn to extend grace to other people. This one is such a big one for me, because I realized that, especially in my 20s, maybe around my early 20s, what will happen is that I will go on a journey of transformation in one area or the other. And when I receive that change that I was looking for, I will start looking for that change in other people. So when I'm not seeing it, I start getting impatient, because I'm like, I've arrived at this point. It should be easy for you to arrive at this point too. Forgetting that when they say whenever you wake up is your morning, does not necessarily mean whenever you wake up is everybody else's morning. So everyone has their own growth journey. Everyone is also going through their process. And it is not in your place to try to rush anyone. In as much as you can teach people from your own experience and you can help them avoid the pitfalls that you encountered, that is just the best that you can do. You cannot put yourself in a position where you're trying to force everybody else to grow at the speed at which you have grown, or the speed at which you are growing. I'm learning to give grace to other people and understand that they are also on their own journey. And one way or the other, they will learn at some point. And it is not in my place to force them into that transformation that I want to see them experience, no matter how much I love them. This is a very valuable one. So I'm learning to be impact focused as opposed to money focused. In my 20s, to be honest with you, I just really wanted to make money. I just wanted to blow. And the more I tried, the more I realized that money was running farther away from me. because I felt like I was focused on the wrong things. It's not bad to make money, obviously. I love it. It's nice. It feels good. But it's also important that we realize that money chases impact. And if you're chasing impact, money will definitely follow. So one of the things I'm learning is to be more impact focused and impact driven. So every day I'm asking myself, how can I give to the people in my life in terms of how can I add meaningfully to their lives and add meaningfully to their growth? How can I help them advance in their purpose? How can I do better in my work, in every other thing that my hand finds to do? As opposed to just saying, I want to make money, I want to make money, I want to make money. How am I actually making a difference in the lives of the people that are around me, and also contributing meaningfully to the environment and the opportunities that come my way? The last thing I'll talk about is that confidence is more from within than it is from the outside. And this is such a game changer because most times we tend to believe that confidence is external, that it depends on how we dress, how we look, how we appear in public and all that. And as much as all those things are good and great and fine, if you are not at peace with the person that resides on your inside, you are never going to be able to show up authentically in a way that makes you look and feel confident. So I'm learning to live from the inside out, and it's changing my confidence game drastically. This is such a valuable lesson for me, and I think that it has changed my approach to everything else. Not even just in the way I show up, in the way that I do my work, in the way that I appear in terms of the value that I give others, the value that I give in terms of like my purpose, the things I pursue, and the way I execute my vision. It's just been a game changer. Knowing that my confidence comes from within and not from the things that are external. So that brings me to the end of this video. I hope that these lessons would also help you begin to look introspectively at your own life and see the things that you can begin to pay attention or more attention to that can really radically change your approach to life and how you show up, as well as how you pursue your purpose and live intentionally daily. Let me know in the comments which of these lessons stood out for you. I also want to know, like, what are your own lessons? Whether you are in your 20s or in your 30s, I want to hear the lessons that you're learning and the things that are changing your life in this season. Until my next video, have a beautiful day. Bye, guys.